Want to know how to make great bread easily? Just get a Dutch oven. Hey everyone, this is a lazy bum way to learn how to make bread, but does require a Dutch oven some time. If you're gonna ask if it works without one, well, I have no clue. I'm sure there are internet guides out there that'll show you how, and I'll make future videos on other ways to make bread, but let's get started, shall we? Alright, first things first, let's sift 425 grams or 3¼ cups of flour. So this is one of those few bread recipes that doesn't actually require super precise weight measurements, so it's okay if you don't have a scale, but I always recommend one. No joke, it's pretty useful, man. After sifting the flour, add 2 teaspoons of salt and half a teaspoon of instant yeast. We're going to mix the dry ingredients, then add 1½ cups or 355 grams of water. I like to add in half, mix a bit, then add the rest of the water. The ingredients should come together and form a dough. If it's a little bit dry, then you can add around maybe a tablespoon of water, but try not to add too much. So this type of dough we're making is a lean style dough. It only requires flour, yeast, salt, and water, and will make for a crusty on the outside but chewy on the inside sort of bread. This bread is very similar to the ones you can find in maybe Italian restaurants, and it goes very well with soups or just even dipping in olive oil. After mixing for a bit, you should end up with a cohesive dough like this. You will now need to cover it with plastic wrap and let it sit in room temperature overnight. I know, you're probably asking why is this so long, right? Well, instead of kneading the dough yourself to develop recent fad diet's worst enemy, gluten, the long fermentation time will do that for you instead, leaving less work. You will need at least 12 hours, but you can always do longer. By then, the dough's gluten network will be developed and no kneading was necessary, hence the title of this video. After patiently waiting, your dough should look something like this. Pockets of hole and air bubbles on the surface, and the dough itself is very jiggly, like jello. It's pretty cool actually. Alright, time to shape the dough. First, get some parchment paper though and a second bowl ready so we can place our dough when it's ready. Dust the work surface with a good amount of flour as this dough is super sticky, and drop your fermented dough on top of it. Then put some extra flour on top as well. I wasn't joking also when I said this dough is sticky. It's like gum almost, so make sure to put a decent amount of flour to manipulate the dough easier. We're going to shape the dough into a ball, or as the bougie people call it, a boule. I like to do this by touching the dough and work surface and circling around it. This will slowly tuck in the edges until it forms into a ball-like shape. It's okay though if it's not perfect, as the bread will still turn out pretty good, trust me. It takes practice though. We're going to cover this with a clean towel and let it rest for 1 hour as we preheat the oven. Start to preheat your oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit and stick that Dutch oven in. So I currently have a LAKEY. It's a pricey Dutch oven. I know, weird flex but okay, but you know, you could get a cheaper one and it works fine. After the 1 hour proofing period, you can score your bread if you choose to. I attempt to do a better line here, but my knife wasn't super sharp, so gotta sharpen it again. You can also put some optional toppings like sesame seeds as well. After prepping your dough, take your Dutch oven out of the oven, take that fat dough and put it inside. Cover the lid and place it back into the oven and bake for 30 minutes. So the reason the Dutch oven is used is because professional bakers have these special ovens that can inject some steam. Obviously we don't have those, right? This steam causes the bread to rise more and is known as the oven spring. The Dutch oven with the cover gives you a similar effect, so the bread will rise a lot more significantly, as you can see right here when we take it out after 30 minutes. It may be hard to see on camera, but the bread definitely puffed up, but we aren't done yet. We have to finish crisping up the exterior by placing it back in the oven without the lid for 15 to 25 minutes, depending on your preference. Once finished, you have to exercise great patience because the bread is still not finished cooking until it cools down. Once it finishes cooling down, you can cut into the bread and you can see these air pockets in the bread. Very nice is what we're expecting. This bread's chewy on the inside but crispy on the outside. Go enjoy it with some olive oil and balsamic vinaigrette, or grab some soup too. Small preview for the next video, by the way. And that's it, the minimal effort method on how to make bread. I hope you give this a try, especially if you like indulging in carbs, and let me know how you think. Hope you learned something from this video, and please like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. You can also follow me on Instagram at WeekendCooks. Take it easy, everyone.